Hello and welcome to Hobb's Horror Stories. I am Hob, your hobgoblin narrator, and today we have a interesting TTRPG horror story for you. This story involves very touchy subjects and a lot of inappropriate theming, and I want to warn everyone now. It also hints at SA and other stuff. Just everyone be prepared right now for, one of the weirdest stories I've found so far on this channel. Where's my D20? Gobbo!
Worth it.
Today's story comes from Reddit on r/rpghorrorstories and was written by Elsia37. And when I tell you the title of today's story, you're gonna know why it's one of the weirdest ones. Ready for this? The title of today's story is Dad Uses D&D to Try and See Me Naked While Cousins Bully Me for Making Wrong Choices.
Oh, Hob, you always pick the loveliest stories.
Honestly, I feel kinda scared typing this out, but I might as well get it out of my system.
Yep, I got something out of my system too. I'm gonna go clean that up.
I was 15 when my dad decided to get the family into D&D. It consisted of my stepmom, older sister, 2 of my cousins, and my dad was the DM. I was new, so my dad helped me to make a character. It was a dark elf rogue. Since I was a rogue and my cousin was one as well, his character would mentor mine. Since I was new, I didn't really know what to do, and they didn't even tell me any of the rules. My cousin and dad were pros, and being new, I made a few mistakes, but would be relentlessly bullied for it no matter how small the mistakes were. I said I was going to make a move out loud, and they laughed at me because I didn't know that they wanted me to write it down on a paper and hand it to the DM. I was embarrassed. Now for the dad part. I was in a tavern trying to find out info for a local gang that had control of the town. Again, they had gotten on to me because apparently some of my questions to the barkeep was too direct. Some of the gang was drinking, and so I started to talk with one of them, and it was creepy because my dad was role-playing as one of the gang members. He told me I either had to fight or have sex with the Dragonborn. I knew my character couldn't take on the Dragonborn by herself. Since it seemed like a better option, I instead flirted with the human fighter in the group who was already hammered. He took me back to his place, and right away he tried to have sex, and automatically I had my character stab him. The creepiest part about it was how interested my dad was. Apparently, as a punishment of killing him, he turned out to be a spy for the Queen. Later on, I missed a session, so to make up for it, me and my dad had a session in my room alone. The session was quick as I didn't miss much, but during that short session, my dad told me that if I showed him my boobs, he would give me 1 legendary item and 1 unique item. I was terrified in that moment and said no. He then asked, "Are you sure?" with a smile on his face. Down the line, when I was having a tough time in battle, he remarked about how that legendary item would have come in handy. Close to the end, he asked again, and of course I rejected him and just wanted to leave. We didn't have another session after that. Edit. Decided to add it in since I forgot about it. I had 2 unique items that I had earned myself, and when I was gone, my cousin couldn't read my handwriting, so they erased my items. Before I get into my notes on all of this, because I have a lot to say with everything in this story, I do have a little bit of clarification from reading the comments for anyone out there worrying with this situation. OP, 1 year later from all of this happening, was taken away from her dad by CPS. So that is good. That's great news right there. Need to get away from that guy as fast as possible. He's worse than the dad from Full Metal Alchemist, and I think everyone knows what that dad did. And OP did attend some therapy, which helped them to deal with all of that, but they are still nervous to go back into D&D. So I'm going to say this one time, and I hope I never have to say this again in my life. No one should try and exploit their own daughter for sexual favors. At all. I don't care what's going on. No! No! Do not do that. No! Creepy piece of shit. Then, on top of that, at no point for any DM out there, especially if you're the player's father, should you try and exploit your players for magic items. Do not try and guilt trip them into doing sexual favors for you or anyone else or exposing themselves in any way. Don't do any of that. If you do any of that, you are a piece of shit. Plain and simple. Don't do that. God, you cover a lot of scum on a channel like this, but this guy, oh my god. OP, I know this story was written out 5 years ago on Reddit, but if by any chance you do see this, I hope things are much better for you now, and your life is going smoothly, and that therapy was able to help. I don't know if you ever came back to playing D&D, but just know that most groups are not going to be anything like that. There are tons of people that just want to play this game to have fun and tell a cool story. And most of the groups that I've played in, there is no talk of sexual actions or anything like that, and have fade to black scenes and don't guilt trip you for not sleeping with your dad being an NPC. Altogether, the piece of advice I would give just to anyone out there who is nervous about interactions with people in D&D, or nervous to meet new people or try new things with it, sometimes you just gotta put yourself out there and try it. I do recommend, if you're going to jump into it and you're nervous about meeting people in person, go and find an online group. And as soon as you get the first hint that something is wrong, just block everyone there. Just leave. Just leave at the first sign of anything weird going on. It's not worth your time. It's not worth playing a bad game like that. There are tons of people out there that you can find where you're going to have a great time and really enjoy the game. Don't waste your time with someone who's going to make you uncomfortable or make you go back through years of therapy. With all of that said, one thing I did want to address here on the channel is sorry for all the interruptions in weekly uploads. There's been a lot going on in both mine and Gabbo's personal lives, and a ton of things that we're trying to work on for the channel too, to get some new content out there. We've been playing with a bunch of different ideas for new series for us to work on, and new Gabbo's guides. We're also getting everything together so we can start a brand new series of shorts that we're going to be posting called Goblin Tips. So, sorry again for the interruptions in broadcasting, but we hope to have a lot more content out for you. We're also excited, coming up in April, there will be Dragon Week that Pointy Hat and Ginny D are putting together. During that week, both Gabbo and I are planning a ton of things out for everyone, including 3 new subclasses and possibly a brand new monster to use, all dragon related, and going to be a very fun time for everyone here. So again, thank you everyone for listening to this story. We hope to see you sticking around for more great Goblins and Gremlins content. Let's roll that outro. I hope you enjoyed today's story. If you have any stories you would like to have read here on the channel, please share them to the email in the description below. Or if you want to see the Goblin Grotto and join our little goblin community, there is also a link to our Discord. If you could please like, comment, and subscribe, it would help us greatly to slay the monster known as the algorithm. Thank you for your time from all of us here at Goblins and Gremlins.